Let's see what your point is.
Yeah. I've got a big daughter who's 18 years old. Her mother's much older than myself. I had her, when I met her, she had 2 children already and so forth. And I find now that my daughter more or less sort of relates to me much more easier than her mother. She always tends to be rather cantankerous, she says, and so forth. And I find that because I'm more on a sort of a hip level, an 18-year-old, I can communicate with her, see the things that she's going through and so forth and that. So, I mean, we talk about our problems. But being as a mother is slightly older, I mean, at times I do consider the fact that maybe she's lacking in communication prospects towards a child. I mean, she's a grown young lady and so forth. You know, they have all their fashions and fads and things and that.
So whose interest should we put first? Should we put our own interest first or the interest of the children?
Oh, well, my mum is really young, so I, get to go out to parties and that. And
how old is she?
34.
And how old are you?
13.
Okay.
And my mum, she's really young. She says, why don't you go to Red or Dead and get all these
so
hippie shoes, yeah. And, that girl was saying over there, her mum and dad are old and that. Well, I feel really sorry for her because I'm not embarrassed of my mum or dad.
Right, OK. Thank you. Stand for you, please.
I knew a woman who'd had a child at 17 and a different woman who had a child at 42. And they're both as liberal as each other. So I think if the time's right, then, do it. Everyone's different.
OK. Let me pick up as many comments as I can. Stand for me, please.
Hi, I'm 37 and I just had a baby 5 months ago and I feel better than I ever have. I feel stronger, mentally just brilliant, and I recommend it to anybody, and it's good having all that experience behind you. I know now.
But can you ever get prepared for having a baby, regardless of your age?
Mentally, yes, very much. I mean, I did a lot of research into it. I had a very serious attitude towards it, which at 25 I would never have had. I think you have more of a sense of responsibility, particularly because you are older. You feel you've really got to do it right because
it's your child.
Exactly.
How that affects your child growing
right.
up.
Who did you think about when you're having a child? Did you think about yourself, or did you think that this was the best time to have the child for the baby?
Well, my child was actually an accident. I'm a single mother, so it wasn't a planned situation. But the child very much. I mean, I went for natural childbirth, baby at home in water, anything to make it as good for the baby as possible. And now I'm looking into his development from now on. But I mean, as age goes, I mean, if Mia Farrow and Raquel Welch are what 50 looks like, then I can't wait.
Thank you. That's true.
I would just like to say, my mother had me when she was 16. I'm now 20. She's 36, and she, we go. Like, she's my sister. We go out, together and that, shopping, going out to clubs and that, and I think it's great.
Yeah. A younger mum's better because she's more trendy. She's
certainly,
more
yeah.
OK, thank you. One thing that we haven't talked about yet, but we have to because it's relevant, is death. If you have your children much later on in life, will you be able to spend as much time with them? Vicky, do you want to pick up?
Well, you obviously don't. Statistically, you don't. But the point is, how much time do you actually have to spend? And I came from a long line of, my grandfather died at 90, was still alive at 96. I had 3 grandparents that stayed into their 80s. My mother is 75 and tap dancing. So, I don't feel that that's a risk. It was nothing that I really worried about.
Jimmy, did you think about it at all?
Yes, I do. But to be quite honest, I'm not worried because the simple reason, I know my wife is very competent looking after the child, and I know that she's competent of carrying on with her home because she runs the home for me.
But I mean, I'm conscious of the fact. Okay, you might miss out on your child's growing up, but my parents probably won't know my children very well. That my brother's children now are ranging from 11 to 4, and they will know my parents fairly well. But I haven't had children yet, as much as I'd love to. I haven't, and who's to say they might not even know my children? I think that's really sad.
Deborah, are parents that delay being selfish?
I don't think so. I think it has to be...
I didn't think you would.
I think it has to be a decision that's personal. I don't think age makes you a better communicator or a worse one. Some people become more nervous with age, other ones become more mature and more assertive. Somebody mentioned discipline. Discipline can vary very much. Energy levels vary. And one of the things we must remember is that children are great levelers. When you have a child and you're quite young, it suddenly gives you a new responsibility. And similarly, when you're older, it rejuvenates you because in both cases you have to think of somebody else.
Should we not really, though, think about the amount of time that we've got left to spend with our children? you know, therefore have them younger?
I don't think when you're having children, birth and death, you can plan these things. You don't know when
plan birth and death?
I'm saying you can't.
Right.
So that, in fact, you have to just live with the day every day. And I think a child will appreciate in the end, especially when you've got children of your own, I think you then realise that your parents gave the best they could possibly give, whatever age they were.
So is there an ideal age to have a child, to become a parent?
I think the ideal age to have a child is when you've got the maturity and wisdom of a 48-year-old packaged in the body of a 16-year-old.
I couldn't have put it better myself.
And I think my husband would have liked that better, but no, I don't think there is a perfect time.
Okay, so we've been asking, what is the best age to have a child? We're talking about giving love, of course. Now, there are three things as far as I'm concerned. It's a lifetime commitment. It's very, very hard work, but my goodness, it's worth it. Different subject next week. See you then. Bye.